parked at the first house early this morning. Was lucky to get parking. Almost called him and went, there's no parking. So, but I managed to get a spot at the last second there. It was pretty cool. And, and it was actually close to my work. But, anyway, it was a long day. And, they're still having the volleyball tournaments. Um, Today, I guess, was the last day. I guess they're awarding the trophies or something in the evening or something. And lots of tourists from different states for that event. And but it was just kind of dragging. The restaurant was really dragging, and there was just so many of us there, and um, we were definitely overstaffed for that, and it just never really did much. No full house. So I mean, we had business. It just wasn't what I thought would probably be. And they claim that this is like the last big week for a while, and then they'll go into their winter. Um, uh, but anyway, uh, they sent me off like an hour early, and I was cool with that, no problem. And it was a good day today. No bull crap from that one dude manager. Who's really obnoxious. Every time I work with him, he's like really horrible. But no problems with him. He was there today. And they probably talked to him and told him cool his jets, which made for a really nice day. Everything was cool, so that was really nice. It wasn't nerving to be there or anything. Just a really slow day. And so uh, anyway, uh, I was going to go to the washateria and wash my uniforms, so I would make sure to have enough because I don't get like one day off so far. But the shifts will get less and less at the big house because they claim that they get really slow this time of year. So um, that's okay. I'd love to be a server there, and they were going to put me on a server at first, and then the main manager wanted me to do hostess. So I was like, I'll do everything but be a chef. So I'm okay. I mean, a job's a job. So, but the servers make huge money there. So anyway, I was cool with it. I thought, well, I'll just go to the washateria and go do my uniforms or work on my eBay. And so anyway, God, I had all these messages from that husband and wife. They have that other house that I work in. I get them every day. They just love me. And so I thought, well, heck, I'll just drive on over there. Well, they end up canceling everything but dinner because the water was out. There was a business nearby that had some flood or whatever, and they shut all the mains off, and so it affected that dinner house for some reason. And so um, they were down all day, and that they do a heck of a business during the day. So I was definitely feeling the pain for the owners. I know they took a beating on that. But anyway, so I went in and visited with the restaurant manager while he was, trying to get stuff set up, and he's like, "Yeah, we had no water. The water was out." I'm like, "What?" I said, "You guys didn't even run for lunch or anything?" He said, "Nope, been closed since early this morning." I'm like, "No," which also broke one of the ice machines. That was really sad. And so they had to call a fixer in for that. It messed the ice machine up bad, even though they shut it off when the water was off. It made it crazy. But they have a really nice ice machine there. And so anyway, uh, uh, I was getting ready to go, and oh my gosh, that owner, she was like, she knew I was here. She was like, sent a message after message, and I just left the phone in the car. I just didn't even pay attention. So, anyway, I told the restaurant manager that, I was going to go to the washateria. Go ahead and do my uniforms. I might drop back by later, and help out for a few hours. I don't want to work too long because I get too tired. It's just too many hours in a day. And so I was gonna pop in and jump in on their lunch and then end it, but they didn't. They didn't operate. So. But anyway, so I was getting ready to go, and she had sent a ton more messages. I had went out to the car, getting ready to leave. She sent all these messages. I said, "Well, hell, I'll just stay." And they had given me a bunch of food last night that I had in an ice box, which would have been so much better if I could heat it up. And so I told her, I said, I guess I'll have to borrow somebody's microwave so I can heat this free dinner up I got last night from somebody. She gave all of us employees huge tray. Just take however much you want. Take it home. God, I wished I had a house. That would have made the best carnitas, tacos, or burritos. Oh my gosh. So, anyway, I warmed that up and sat and talked to the restaurant manager for a bit. And I said, she'll be down here like flames on her heels. I said to come see me. And I said, you watch. She's going to come in earlier than you think. He's like, nah. I said, you watch. What happened? She was down there like 10 minutes later. You need to quit that other job. I really need you to quit that other job and just work for me. I said, no. And for me, it's real early in the game. One house might be better than the other. I don't want to cut my nose off to spite my face and jump into one and it turns out to be a mess. And I still have that other dinner house calling me left and right. It really wants me there. Weather is decent. It's cooler in the nights and it's hot in the days. Um, and uh, it's normally been slammed at the big dinner house that I work every day, but today was kind of dragging. And so, where are you working at? I'm working at two fine dining dinner houses. One is all seafood, and the other one is just linen tablecloth fine dining. And it's really interesting. Plus, I got offered another one with surf and turf fine dining, and they wanted me to be a server, hostess, and a busboy, which I would do. All busboys make big money. They make huge money around here. And I hated I didn't get that job, but I couldn't take it, and I had two other job offers that I was going to take on Monday. Not this Monday, but the last Monday. But I just had like entirely too many jobs. Oh, and today I talked to the district man on my payroll. I said, my payroll still hasn't come in on that card you guys gave me. And the other day she said it would be a week or so. Well, she said, well, the payday cutoff was Saturday. And so it's like, okay. I'm working beyond full time. I am doing 12 to 14 hours a day because I'm dealing with two fine dining dinner houses. So, but a couple that owns the one dinner house, they're constantly begging me to quit that job. And so I was getting just short of $20 at Spirit Halloween, and I quit that. It was just too problematic, and they were talking about my pay coming in like 4 weeks, and total of my work time and the wait, and I just wasn't interested in working a job if I wasn't going to get paid for weeks. There's no way. I'm not that dumb. Can't do it. No way. So, especially when one of my coworkers who's worked there since the opening of that store, who has never been paid, and he still keeps coming back to work. I just no, that just spooks the heck out of me. And that they say he just got paid this week, all that money they owed them. Man, can you imagine being a young person and not being able to get your pay at some job for months? That's just lame. So what are my hours? 9:30 in the morning till who knows when. You know, the other night I worked 9:30 in the morning at the big seafood place, fine dining, till like 10 or 10:30 at night. I stayed to roll flatware because the servers were slammed. The whole restaurant was slammed front to back, and there just wasn't enough flatware. And I just kept rolling as fast as I can. They were using it up as fast as I rolled it. And it takes a while when you have to roll all that flatware. To me, it's kind of dumb. I, I, I would much rather just give them napkins and set a table than to sit there and roll flatware. Rolled flatware to me is tacky, and so you get out of work early. I did just to hear. They sent me an hour early. One of the really great managers came up to me. She says, "I hope you don't mind, but I'd like to just go ahead and let you go early because there's just no. I mean, the place was like a ghost town, man. We just didn't do that many tables, and they have so many employees, front house to back house. I mean, I'm guessing, God, we have like 10 chefs all at once, and then all kinds of food runners and preps, and two dish people and dish pit. Dish pit is gigantic. I have never seen a dish pit that big in my life. It is huge. It's like you could put a bed in there and make a little apartment in there. It's so big. Um, and really nice dishwasher machine, man. It's all automatic and it drags the stuff through there. Really nice. And it's slammed constantly. Normally, it's just slammed, knee deep. It's just the scariest place you ever walked into. But there's so many people. Um, like the other day, we had 15 servers. That's a lot of servers on one floor. And they'll just get like five or six tables each, or sometimes four each. Trust me, they are slam packed, slam packed. Really good house, but and they pay me really good over there. Just to be a flipping hostess. Um, but today was just so boring. It was like you want to go to sleep, but there was too many of us. We had like five hostesses and two stations, one front, one in back, and it was just too many people. It was just retarded. It's a waste of payroll, and that's why they cut me loose. Even though they claim I'm in training and all that. I don't make any food tips. I'm not a server. I'm a hostess. So uh so yeah, it was a not a problematic day today at the big house that I work in. But then this is the kicker. At the other house I work in, there's this young little short guy who's usually pretty quiet. He's not. All the servers at this other house are not professional. It's like they never served in their life. They don't clean any of the dishes off when they bring them to the dish pit. They don't throw the trash away. They just throw all that trash up on there, like your maid service. I've never seen anything like it in my life. You would never work. I don't even think you work Waffle House or Denny's and do that crap. You're supposed to brush all the food off the plates into the trash can, take the flatware, put it in the flatware tray to soak, and stack all your plates appropriately. You don't just throw all that trash up there and empty all your drink cups out, take the straws out, throw them in the trash. They just throw all that trash up on there like it's a freaking service. I've never seen anything like it in my life. They don't pick up dirty dishes off the table. They let the customer sit with it all the way to the end when they're paying out and everything. And you don't leave dishes on the table. A lot of times people like to sit and talk, and it's grotesque to have dirty dishes on the table. The server's supposed to be picking up those dishes as they go along. And I mean, you'll see dishes stacked on the table where the customers have stacked them all up, and they're waiting for somebody to come get them. And they use a ton of dishes in this one place. But anyway, so there was an interesting problem this evening with that young boy. He never usually says much. They had me running food the other night. She's like, "Oh, I got so many people tonight. I'm going to let you run food." And so what you do is you take the food from the window and you run it out on a big giant tray. Or I don't like tray service, but this restaurant's real high end and they really kind of like that. So sometimes I'll run just the plates out by hand because I can carry a bunch up my arms. I've did it for years. And then other times you just don't have a choice. There's just so much of it needs to all go out at once. It's hot and it's ready, and you have all these people waiting on it. Um, and so, she had me, I guess, the past couple nights doing some food running and stuff. And then I would go out and busboy and stuff. I would pick up dishes and that. None of those servers tipped me the other night except for one, which was odd. And they were banging the other night. And I come in and help for a few hours. So she pays me just short of $20 an hour because I told her that's all it would take. I wouldn't do any different because I'd been doing food prep for her, and then one night I went in and I was dish the whole entire night. But I'd still help out doing other stuff. So anyway, tonight I did mostly food running, and I did some dish just to help out. They did have a dish girl there, but I was helping her out because I don't like to just stand around when people are paying me by the hour. I like to be worth my money, so I help out and sometimes help out in the kitchen and stuff. And so, anyway, I was just kind of doing all kinds of things, but she really wanted me to run food tonight. So, it was pretty slow for that place. Usually it's slam packed anytime the doors are open. And it was just slow. There was a ton of traffic going both ways on the highway. That's what I found a bit odd. But again, that big event, they were doing the trophies and everything. So, and people were from all over the state. So, I'm sure that everybody stayed around that area and ate around there instead of going other places. So, this one boy, we were closing early. The owner said, I'm going to turn the lights off. And we were like, what? And this was like 7, I guess, around 7. And it was like, what? But I mean, you have to think about where she's coming from. She's got all these employees. She's got 2 chefs. She's got 1 food prep, 1 dish. She's got food runner. And then she's got like 3 servers, hostess, and then paying utilities. And so, what is she going to do? I mean, it's costing her money by the hour. If no tables are coming in, no sense to be open, you know. Might as well shut her down. They only serve, till like 8 anyway. So she was upset because she didn't get to open for day shift because of the water out. The city water was out, so they had to shut it down because there was a flood in the building nearby. So anyway, I was interested to see if she really would shut it down. She sure as heck did. She killed the marquee, all the lights outside. Said we're finished. So we just had like 3 or 4 tables still in house that were eating, and then they, most of them were like kind of gone. There was 2 guys left that had a restaurant just like this one I'm working in, and they were commenting on their server, and I was talking about at the bar there, and the one gentleman wanted to see the cooler. We have a big stand-up glass cooler at the bar that has like 20 or 30 beers in it. I didn't even realize it until tonight because I haven't had time to go out on the main floor that much and look around. Um, but it's real impressive. And so he said I would like to look at the beer cooler if you don't mind before we leave. And he stood, there at the bar, and he looked. He said, "Wow!" And he's looking at all the different imported beers and stuff. And he said he had this shirt on with initials across the front, Dallas, Texas. So I've been to Texas a bazillion times, but anyway, he said, "This is my restaurant, and it's just like this one. But you know what? The food is better here than my restaurant." And I was like, "Wow." He said, "Really impressive. Loved the server." I was like, "Yeah, this girl's the best server that they have here." I'll stand there and talk some big. She's a nice girl. But anyway, I'll say good things. So, and the girl was right nearby too, so makes her day. It's good to be kind to people and say positive things. So anyway, while we were standing there talking at the bar, and the restaurant's virtually closed, they're like the last 2 guys out. They're really nice guys, and one guy's like about 50, the other guy's probably about 68, something like that, I would guess. Really nice people. And uh they were telling me about their restaurant and this, that, and the other. And so anyway, just super nice. So anyway, this young boy that's a server is going by, and he's got like 2 little salad plates in his hand. All of a sudden, a piece of flatware hits the deck. That's about 6 foot from us. And he stands there just like frozen. And he goes, "Can you guys pick that up for me?" Now he's 2 foot from the kitchen door, which is 2 foot from dish pit. Okay, you ready for that? And he's about 5 or 6 foot from us over there, right? And that knife hit the deck. And he's like freaking out, going, "Please, can one of you, pick up that knife?" And the 2 guys looked at me. Now, they have a nice formal dinner house like this one, right? They just looked at me like, "What the hell?" And he asked like the third time. I walked over and said, "Let me show you how we do it in food and beverage." And I took my shoe and I, shoved over this knife like 3 times to get it over out of the way so nobody would like skate over that thing if they come out, the kitchen doors or somebody's coming the other way. Because it'd break your neck. And I mean, we were closed anyway. There really wasn't much. But we do a lot of cleaning there at closing. But anyway, they take down the entire kitchen on Sunday night. That's just a thing they do. And so, anyway, he finally bent down and picked up the knife. Well, why was he asking us? Now, honestly, I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have took those 2 little salad plates, run them into the dish pit, come back out the door, and come got the damn knife after I shoved it out of the way. No big hairy deal. So, later we're, trying to get the kitchen finished up and cleaned up, and he comes over there and he gets right up about 3 foot from me in the back house. And with the back house manager, 6 foot from me, with one of the chef's kids who's 3 foot behind me sitting on a little chair against the wall waiting for his daddy to finish up, because everybody helps close. And so this young guy, he takes and he's like right up in my face and he goes, "Hey, I don't want to be a D 4-letter word, or anything, but uh, what you did was effed up and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yelling at me. I said, excuse me? And he says, that's right. He says, when I dropped that knife, you didn't pick it up. And you're just effed up. And that was just some bull crap. I said, excuse me. I was talking with some customers at the bar. You're the server. You dropped the knife. And you stood there and looked at us and wanted us 3 times to pick it up. At the customers and me. I said, really, a knife? And he's screaming, standing there cussing everything. And I'm looking at him. And I said, you know what? I'm not your mama. It's not my job to pick up your knife. He said, you're damn right, you're not my mama. She's dead. And he starts screaming as he's exiting the kitchen with his backpack over his shoulder. And cussing me out and going on, you would never be my mama. It was the most childish thing I've ever seen. I don't know which was worse. The cussing out or just the simple fact that he's expecting me to walk over 6 foot and pick up a knife that he dropped. He's a server. It's his job. He dropped it, pick it up. If I dropped it, they wouldn't be running around picking up a knife around me. I promise you that. I promise you that. They wouldn't give a damn. They'd just walk right through it. But, I mean, really strange. And, the owner was in bad mood because she just was really upset about losing day shift because of the water being out. So, it wasn't the thing to be bringing up to her in the moment. But the good thing was the back house manager was right there. And he just, was standing and listening to that crap. And he's a pretty easygoing cat. He's pretty nice. And, the chef was furious because he was right there cleaning the grill and cleaning everything. And then his son was, God, just a few foot from me in a chair right there against the wall. Little bitty kid. And had to listen to all that cussing. And then his little screaming parade out the back door of the restaurant was just unreal. So that was kind of crappy. And then we've got Oktoberfest coming up here or something. They do a lot of different events and stuff in the area. And so the owner, she met with me today when she got there. And she's like, because I ended up hanging out waiting on her. She was there. As soon as she knew it was on the property, I was getting ready to go to the washateria. And I thought, boy, I'll never get out of here now. I'm stuck now. If I got 50 foot from the building, because they love me there. And I said, she told me, she said, I want you to quit that other job. And I said, no. And she's like, well, I really need you to because, the Oktoberfest is next week and all that. And I need your help. I want you to be a food runner. And I'll give you 1% of all sales. And I'm like, 1% of all your sales? And I'm like, that's like $1 every 100. That's like 1 penny for every dollar. So, I had talked to the back house manager tonight. And I was like, so, she's talking about giving me 1%. Of the house sales and like $10 an hour to run food. And that's way down below what she pays me otherwise. And it's just like, man, that's not even worth me going over there, you know what I mean? I don't know. And he said, no, it'll be the 1% of the server's tips. And it's like, they won't even tip me anyway. There's one girl that did it the other night, and it was interesting to see how many people would run up and throw me even a couple bucks. And Only one girl came up to me, and it's a black girl that works here, and she was like, "Here, this is for you." And I mean, it was less than $10, but it was the thought that counted. Obviously, she's professional, and she realizes that that's the thing to do. And she was blown away that nobody else tipped me. I mean, if you've been a server at all in a good house, okay, and I'm not talking like Waffle House or Denny's or some crap like that. I'm talking about fine dining. You are required to tip out. I got a friend of mine. She works at a place called Shack, which is a real big thing. They have really nice food. It's on the water and everything. And she's a server. And she said, "Man, it cost me $75 and up to tip everybody out before I leave." She says, "I just hate it." She says, "I make really good money, but God, I pay $75 a night between the busboy and two other people." She was telling me. I can't remember how that went. I can't remember if that goes to bartender or food runners or what that does. She said three people she has to tip out is like $75 a night. So I was like, wow, man. I mean, it sounds like the strip club says they're paying some big money there. That's a hell of a bite. But I mean, they're making gigantic money in all these big fine dining dinner houses. The servers make really, really good money. I wish my daughter would have done. I was trying to teach her how to be a server, and even took her to a local coffee shop, and the waitress was trying to teach her and stuff, and how to bus a table and all that kind of stuff. And I tipped the lady just for teaching her. She let her work a couple tables with her and stuff. And I said, "You can do it, man. I would take that money." Because she was still a minor. So it'd have been an ideal job to get. If you can get into stuff like food and beverage, you know, it's a good backup plan. And if you ever need a side gig, you can get in, especially when you're young. You're just like bulletproof and you can run for days and you don't get worn out and all that stuff. And so it can be a real big moneymaker. Plus, if you're versatile, if you could learn how to hostess and you learn, how to bus and you learn how to serve and all this stuff. I mean, you're looking at later years where you can be manager, of a dinner house. They have so many different managers today, it's hard to believe. It used to be like, one manager, food and beverage. Especially when I worked at the hotels, it'd be like one manager. Sometimes they'd have separate manager for bar only, which I was a bar manager for Holiday Inn in the Valley in California. I did that and got paid really good money. But I was bar manager or nothing. That bar was never full. That bar would be lucky if it had six customers all at once. It just didn't do that kind of business. It was a tourist thing, where, like corporates would put their employees there for the night or the week, and they were never going to be there to enjoy it at sometimes the dinner house, because the Holiday Inn always had really good linen tablecloth fine dining. They serve such good food in most all these hotels. It's amazing. Um, but uh, um, but yeah. So I don't know. But I'm not real gamey over $10 an hour plus 1% because the manager was telling me it's 1% of the server's tips, and I don't know if I'm interested in that crap. Because again, that's $1 out of every 100. So if they're making $400 each, that's like $4 each, and $10 an hour. That's just not very much money, you know. And I mean, they just don't appreciate it. It's like tonight they were like, they went to the owner and they said, "Oh, we don't need red, running our food tonight. We'll do it ourselves." And then they even told me, "We don't need it. We'll do it ourselves." And I can't do anything. I just do what the owner says. And she's just so excited to have me there. She's just thrilled to bits to have a food runner. So I can't do anything about it. It's whatever this lady says goes. She doesn't play, trust me. She's she's it's hard to joke with her and stuff. I think I'm the only one around that can joke with her and brighten her up and stuff because She does not like joking. She's just strictly business. When she is there, she is just 100% strictly business. This woman inspects every plate before it goes out. I am not kidding you. She is just precise. And I mean, this stuff is picture perfect. It looks like something out of a magazine. You know, it is picture perfect when it goes out. So very impressive. I mean, very professional. She takes a huge amount of pride in her stuff, which is cool. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I guess these places just seem to have problems here and there. Doesn't make a difference how good the house is or how bad the house is, but at this point, I'm not going to quit that big house for the other one. I mean, if I do anything at all, like if they lay me off of the big house because season got so bad over there, I'm going to go over to that other joint where they keep calling me all the time and go do that where I've got really cool option where I bust. That means I get tips from the servers. And then, sometimes I'll serve, so I'll get my own tips. Because the average price over there is about 25 and up in that house. Um, and that's the average price at, at the second house that I work is like 25 and up, probably. I need to look at the menu to tell you for sure. Um, and then the other house, the average price is about 50 and up that I work. And we're talking like way up there. Like, it could be, there's a few things that are $100 on the menu. So, um, you know, uh, I just don't know. But we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I love this second house. I really do. I love the owners. They're wonderful. And most all the people I work with are just tremendous. But the owner agreed, today that, she was talking about the server should be tipping you. And I said, well, I can't ask them. And she said, well, I got to talk to them and teach them that. And it's like, I mean, how does the server not know? That's just lame. But, and I don't know what these servers make. They may be making hundreds a night. Who knows? Tonight they didn't do that hot. I don't care if they got $50 tips from every table. It just was so slow. And when the owner wants to shut her down as early as she did, I was blown away. I didn't think she was really going to do it, but she sure did. It only took her about 5 minutes to make the final decision, and she shut that bugger down. And I mean, it saved her money. It's just too many employees that she has to pay to keep the house running, and nobody's coming in to eat. I mean, there was traffic out of the highway, and God, nobody was coming to eat. So, you got to base it on what your revenue is. And Charlie lost a huge amount, only being able to run night shift because the city water was shut down. I know she ate it bad today. Such is life, though. But yeah, so that was interesting. Very interesting. See how interesting it is for the come out of the deal. The back house manager was telling me tonight after I left. We were talking. He says, uh, that young guy has worked there like a year or something. I said, really? But if you ever pulled that crap on the main floor or in back house screaming at another coworker like that and cuss words all over, just lit and threw a fit screaming out the back door, you would never come in that house again. Ever. And you'd sure have a hard time getting a job. Because I'm going to tell you, Denny's and Waffle House wouldn't even put up with that crap. Much less freaking fast food. You won't be blowing a head gasket acting retarded like that. Because people won't have you if you're aggressive like that. You don't want to work with people like that. Aggressive people do crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. Yep. Even if they come back and say sorry the next day, it's like you just can't trust them. They're just too fiery. If they can't control themselves, there's something wrong with them. You know, that means you can't function around other people in public. That's kind of person you put like in a dish pit. So they work by themselves or doing inventory or something because they don't need to be around other people. Because it's just not a good job for them. I mean, there's a lot of things I would have liked to sit and dine in the bar and restaurant industry. But I mean, I guess as you get older, you get to the point where, uh, you just don't want to waste your breath on all that negativity. And also, you know, it takes two to fight. So if you're going to sit there and argue with some imbecile, you're just provoking the situation because they're not going to shut up. And sometimes if you just look at them with a blank look and just let them carry on till they shut up or walk away, then it just solves the problem. They have nobody to argue with. Like, they realized later that they were really stupid for acting like that. That they really showed their butt. But, I mean, I've owned this stuff, run it, and worked it, and I'm going to tell you, I would never have anybody like that working with me. Especially if they approached another, employee of the restaurant. And I'm not a funhouse employee. I'm back house. That's like, you just stepped on dirty ground right there and you start jacking people in the back house. That's really a very bad, bad, bad mistake. If you ever make enemies with a chef, you ever make enemies with somebody in a back house, a busboy, a hostess, guess what happens to you? The hostess screws you over. They skip you in rotation and everything else. And you stand around going, how come they got all the tables? Oh, sorry, I forgot. Sorry, I forgot. Because you do it intentionally because they're trash. That when you hit them with the money, hit them in the money belt, then they start waking up and realizing, there's don't be jacking with folks. Jack with a chef, guess what happens to your food? It's all trash. It's cold. It's going to be late. You lose your tips because you pissed off the chef. If you piss off the busboy's never going to clean all your tables and you're going to have to do it yourself and still tip them because it's required in every house. So you don't do stuff like that. And you definitely don't overstep your boundaries to go into back house and start giving people some caca. No, wrong. No. Dumb, very dumb. And to show your butt in a fine dining dinner house is ridiculous. But, that's kind of like I told that young man after he went through his cussing, screaming fit. I'm not your mama. I just couldn't believe the Joker was whining about wanting me to pick up a knife that he dropped 5 or 6 foot from me. Are you kidding? Or one of those two gentlemen to go get it? One of the three of us were like, like the last people in the dinner house? Oh my gosh. Really? I mean, what a big baby. If you can't pick up your knife, you don't need to be serving. I mean, it's a big person world. Guess how much stuff I ever dropped? You know what? I knocked over 100 cups. 100 plastic cups in an Italian restaurant I worked in called Scarpolino's. Yeah. Yeah. And accidentally knocked them all over when I was like stacking them. They had this huge pyramid in back house. of these stupid cups, like we'd ever use 1,000 plastic cups, right? And you stacked them like a damn pyramid. And I was standing there and I was trying to stack them and I freaking knocked it over. And guess what? There was hundreds of cups hit the deck. Do you think anybody was over there picking it up? No, they were laughing. Well, I was embarrassed all to heck picking up all those cups and taking them back to be washed again. Because I made the mess. It's a good thing we weren't busy. We were standing around talking in the kitchen, all the servers and everything. You know, I was a server. And you know, it's my own stupid accident. You know, and I had to pick it up. You know, don't think all those jokers standing right in front of it, we were all talking, would be bending on picking that crap up, because they're not. They're standing there laughing because it was hilarious. You know, it's an unfortunate thing that happened. You know, and I wasn't careful enough. I knocked the whole damn lot off. I'm not going to tell you I didn't do anything dumb, you know, in food and beverage. Jeez, it happens all the time. Um, you know, to everybody, silly things happen, but I sure wouldn't be chasing somebody down, cussing them out because I dropped a freaking knife on the floor and they didn't pick it up. It's like not my job, man. Gee whiz. But he may also not know that you just shove the stuff out of the way with your foot to keep somebody from having an accident. Then if you have to come back and get it, you come back in and get it. But it sure wasn't far away. I mean, man alive. 2 foot to the damn kitchen door and 2 foot to the dish pit. Are you kidding me? God, if you can't figure out how to take those two little salad plates to the dish pit and come running back and grab that knife, I don't know what to tell you. That's a scary thought. And the fact he's only about 4'9". You know, he's way shorter than me. He's got less distance to go to hit that deck, get that knife. You know what I mean? Stuff hits the deck now. I'm like, man, it's long distance for me to get down there, you know? And especially with my knee all messed up from when I fell in my other office. My knee is so bad. It is so bad, I want to tell you. It is really, I mean, crippling bad. I just hope I don't have to have knee surgery or something. I think I do, because it's cracked. And it's not a good thing. When they did x-rays on it, it's cracked and damaged again. So that's just terrible. Yeah, so I'm not like, I'm not really excited if I have to pick anything up off the ground, you know, right now. And I have to go up and down stairs constantly at the first house I work in, and all day long. Yeah. So hell, I have to go upstairs just to be there. And it was hurting me pretty bad yesterday. I was having a lot of trouble. I thought I was gonna fall because my knee's so screwed up. Um, you know, I don't want to say anything about it because I don't want him to not work me. You know, but it's hard. It's really hard. So I don't know. But anyway, today was a really good day at the first house. Oddly enough, um, and just had one problematic person over there, which they were cool today. I was so happy that I didn't have to go through more bullcrap with him today, being psycho. So it made for a terrific day in the first house. I was so happy the whole day. Really, really pleased, even when I left today. It was such a nice day, and even one of my managers asked me how was today. She always does that. How was today? I said it was great. She looked at me like in shock. I said, no, I'm serious. It was great. No problems. Everything's cool. Really good day. She's like, wow. I'm like, yep, that was awesome. But second house was a little bit of a problem. It blew me away because it's usually not really any big problems over there. Everybody works so good together over there. front house and back house. The whole place functions as a whole. It's amazing how musically inclined it is, where it just runs like a song, just constant. Very nice. Um, you know, but I mean, the back house is so professional. It's really fast. It's like playing baseball back there, man. It's just like boom, 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 boom. Just really put together well. But I mean, the owners are real strict, so they don't play. They're there for the money. It's got to be done by in a certain amount of time, and it needs to be perfect, or they're not going to even ship it to the table. They're just really, like I say, it's like picture perfect. I'm telling you, it's like that food. You could take a picture of it and put it in a magazine. It's so perfect. Every single plate that goes out, salads, all the vegetables have to be placed appropriately. I mean, everything is perfect. Uh, very, very impressive. Um, yeah. So anyway, today basically was a pretty good day. Um, I got a lot of hours in, and I got off early twice. I really didn't want to work past 8 in the second house, and I was there till like 9 actually. But because I got off, an hour early from the first house, I wasn't too worn out or anything, so that worked out good. I was bored to death though, first house. We all were. It was so slow, just not a lot of tables. And I thought we were just gonna get slammed come 11 o'clock, but we didn't. Um, I mean, we had some business, but God, there's so many people that operate that house. The payroll is horrendous. But that place is nice because they'll let you work over if you want to. I mean, they're really reasonable about letting you have extra hours. I got a ton in this week. Like today was all overtime. If my payroll ended for Sunday, then I had a whole day of overtime today. So I knew when I walked in the door, I was like, man, I'd be looking sweet. Um, that every hour is gonna count, and I get paid just short of 20 anyway. I do real good over there. Um, yeah, they just raised the Florida wages recently, from what I've been told. So I think that minimum wage alone now is like something like uh 9.75 or 10.50 or something now. Somebody was telling me that, and I'm like, no, because and let's see, Fort Walton has always been around 8.50 or 8.75 or $9 or something like that. And then if you work Destin, you're looking at generally $15 and up in Destin. And if you work Valp, it's usually like the cheapest wage of all, because Valp just doesn't do a whole lot of business. It's just a highway and a base. So they don't pay hardly anything at all. They're just right on the minimum wage at Valp. But yeah, so I'm just gonna let it lay as it lays. You know what I mean? The second house may not work out at all. It may be a living nightmare. Um, who knows? But I'm not quitting one job for the other. I'm just not doing it. I'm just gonna feel it out, ride out, and see where we're at. You know. Like I said, I'd really like to be a server in the first house, and that was what they were first going to put me in as, and then the other main restaurant manager wanted to go ahead and run me as hostess. Maybe they're getting rid of somebody. I don't know. Um, that might be their master plan. Who knows? Uh, so they get me trained their way for their job, and they want to cut somebody loose. They can do it with no problem at all because they have enough people to do it. So I don't know. I don't know the reasoning behind it. But I just want to take whatever. I mean, that's what I did in every restaurant I went into. I said I'll do everything but chef. They're like everything. Like, yep, I'll be a busboy. I will be, you know, food prep. I will be dish. I'll be a server. I'll be a hostess, and I'll float. I'll be a floater where I just do a different job every day or float by the hour or whatever you need. If you can get your foot in the door, that's all that matters. In the old days, being versatile was a really good thing. Most people couldn't do it all. I've done all this crap. Did it for years when I was younger. Made a lot of money in food and beverage. But like I said before, I got tired of it because I had quit drinking and, had a kid and, wanted to get out of all that nightlife and, the weekends and the holidays and all that crap and away from the drunks because I just don't have the patience for the drunks. I cannot do all that drama. Um, so I just wanted to get away from it. I mean, it's not that I can't go in a bar and hang out with friends and drink cokes. I mean, I can go to all kinds of bars and hang out and drink cokes, but it doesn't bother me or anything. I wasn't like a dirty drunk or went to rehab or anything like that. I just quit. I found it to be the appropriate thing to do to raise children. It would be better to be sober at all times, you know, because you're raising a little tiny person. You'd be awake and alert, so that's what I did. And I just kind of grew out of food and beverage. It just wasn't necessary. It's a good thing to know. There's a lot of money in it, especially in these tourist places. Man, there's huge money. I'm amazed at some of the people I know that work as servers around me. It's amazing the money they're making. I didn't think they were making that kind of money at all. You know, that they're making huge, huge money. We're talking 400 to 600 a night in tips, and that's like pretty incredible. So I still have open doors at some other restaurants. I've got open door at one that's like $100 a meal. That the chef really wanted me over there, and they were gonna put me in as server. And wow, and they have a mandatory tip out there and everything. Mandatory tip from the customers percentage. They have like a signs on the door, and that would be interesting. You know, so I mean, you could be doing pretty good. I mean, a couple people told me day shift is a little slow, so if you're in the afternoon or night shift, you could do real good. So I still have lots of little open doors if I want to slide another direction to another house. I've got stuff there for me. Um, I've got a real nice chef out at Harbor Walk that really wanted to hire me. He wanted me to be there Monday, and so did another house. You know, and then I got that other one that said that they weren't hiring for 2 weeks because the GM was out of state or some crap for 2 weeks and they weren't doing any hiring without her. And then all of a sudden, I guess she's back because they've been calling me to death for a week. And I haven't even bothered to call them back. When I get time, I guess I'll call them and say, look, I got hired on at 2 other houses and just hold on to my app and might catch you, soon if you got anything. So I don't know. I'm just trying to, pay the bills because I come so close right to the nitty gritty where, eBay just suddenly slowed down and all that. And I was really scared because, I had storages coming up and all that. And the last two, man, I just barely made them. I made them 2 days before the deadline, which was nice. I was really excited about that part. I really didn't want to be skating under the wire, but I made them. So that was good. But I mean, I got other stuff I got to do too. You know, I still would like to put another tire on the car. I want to do alignment. Um, you know, I'm gonna like have a full gas tank all the time, all that kind of stuff. I haven't done any of the auctions in the last week. I haven't had time to run any live auctions on the big website because I've just been working every single day. I did have one day off, and I hid from everybody. And one of my buddies was going, "You're not working today. You're not working today." I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because I'm hiding." I wanted to go to the washateria. I wanted to go to a secondhand store, see if I could pick up some pants, which I probably have a ton in the other storage that I had paid. But it's just so full of my daughter's boxes and everything else. I, you know, I didn't want to be like taking all that stuff out and flipping, have to be looking for those pants and stuff. So I just went to the secondhand store and picked up some pants for $1 a pair, kind of thing. Just grabbed them. Didn't even try them on. The only problem is there's about 3 that don't fit. And I could sew them with my battery pack that I got. I don't even know if I'll sell them. I may just sell them out on eBay and just get some more. Hopefully they fit. I'm trying not to spend a lot of money, but because I worked 6 days the first week here for that one house. Um, now this week they've got me for 5 days at the first house. So, and it could get less and less every week, because they claim it does get slower for the winter. So, they might have me on 4 days next week. And then next week after that might be just 3 days and just kind of run 3 days till, season comes back in. I'm okay with that too. I can go work at the other joint all I want. I mean, today it was so funny when she took me outside and we sat outside and she was like, "So we need to talk. You need to quit that other job." And I'm like, "No." And the next one was she was just going to pay me $10 an hour to run food. I'm not really excited about that. I probably won't make too big an effort for the food runner thing, and that's for the whole next like 7 days. And I'm just not really excited about $10 an hour. McDonald's is paying almost 20 an hour. Yeah, I talked to 2 people and they were telling me that McDonald's is paying almost $20 an hour now. I'm like, what the heck? But I'm not real big for fast food. I almost did one. That it's not H Salt Fish and Chips. I forget what it's called. It's a seafood fast food joint, and they were advertising daily pay at a really good rate. Hell, there's the Whataburgers are going $14 and up. In Destin, I think it's still at 19. Yeah, Whataburgers right now to work. And so that even creeps me out some more. She wants me to be a food runner for 10 and fine dining. She's like, "I'll pay you 10 on that, and I'll pay you the other when you're working back house or dish." And it's like, dude, with 1% tip, which I was understanding her to mean of total sales of the house. But the back house manager was telling me a little bit ago, no, it's the 1% of what the servers make. And it's like, they're gonna lie their butt off. They make 300, they're gonna, and that's $1 100. That's $3, right? 1%. 1%, 1 penny of $1, or $1 per 100. It's $3. So they'll give me $1. Now they're gonna do. I'm telling you, I've said it several times, and they're like, "Yep, these servers wouldn't make it at Waffle House or Denny's, that's for sure." God, I don't know where they learned how to serve like that, but that's their thing. I'm not in charge of it. It's not my big problem or anything. I'm just trying to help them, you know. Um, I mean, I take my spare time and run out there and pick up dishes off their tables and run food out because they're not back there to get it, and I am. I just do it for the heck of it. But yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I love you guys. It's been a size 7. I'm tired. I'm really, really tired. And I have to be at work in the morning. So, I hope you guys have a great one. And do something kind for a stranger, and I'll catch you in the next one. I love you.